Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Thank you for joining me once again. As you can see, there is a new little hobby that I am showcasing here. Yes, I am interested in Pokémon TCG Pocket. Now, as I have Pokemon cards back from the original release dates there of some of the classic sets like Basic, Fossil, Team Rocket, and then into Gen 2, I really like the artworks for the Pokemon cards, and I think that they do pretty good here for the Pokemon TCG Pocket as well. Now, I had originally done some pulls here of the Palkia packs right here, and the video crashed partway through, and unfortunately I wasn't really able to continue on with that one there, so I had finished up the pulls that I was intending to do, and now I am coming back to do these here. So I am ready, and I want to pull a little bit from each of them there. The first time, unfortunately, had some pretty amazing pulls. I'm going to see if I am able to recover any of that. I don't think I am, because I think when it crashed, it just took everything with it. Now, what I am planning to do is just review through some of the stuff that I have, just so that with these diary entries, it's kind of a known fact of what I have pulled and what I haven't, though I guess some things that could be seen there is depending on what ends up pulling. And I might even just go back and show some of my really awesome moments that I have had in the past for this there. But for the moment, I just wanted to get these through. Now, what I'm looking for in these is kind of the obvious. I'm looking for immersive arts, looking for goldens, I'm looking for the art cards and whatnot there. The one thing that I can say is there are 3 cards that I am looking for. It's the regular Rhyperior, the regular Rampardos, which I believe both of those are in the Dialga one, and then I am also looking for a Miss Magius in the Palkia packs as well. So I am planning to do essentially 10 pulls from each of them there, and just seeing what I get from each of them there. So without further ado, let's see here. I have always been a Dialga fan a little bit more, so why don't we go into that one first. And just get right into the 10 and bop. Do-do-do-do-do. And let's go. Skull Fossil, getting in the... Hopefully that's a premonition. A little bit of Team Galactic Grunt. The Wormadams, probably my least favorite of the ones that they have. The little Knit Oddish, nice relaxing Tangrowth there, nice. Little cute Poochyena holding on to something or someone. Gligar, just being himself. Bidoof with his monstrous attack. Piloswine with his already ability on that one there, nice. Ooh, and probably my choice for the prettiest card that they have in this particular set, because it is just absolutely gorgeous. The ability, yes, is also just a nice little touch of having it on the back burner, just like, everyone gets the 10 health. That's really nice of just doing it there, especially since it stacks. If you've got 2 of them on the bench, it's just like, yes, I recovered 20 on everyone each turn. So if you're able to just swap between 2, like if you've got a Celebi and maybe another powerhouse on the bench that you can easily just put energy on and be able to retreat when they've taken too much damage, I think that could be a powerful combo. Murkrow, again, just living its best life. Yanma flying around. Dawn, probably my favorite design for the female leads of the Pokemon games. Bebarrel, I have a few beakers close by that have built up a dam, so it's... And here we are, the Yanma leading right into the Yanmega, very nice. Ralts skipping around. Electabuzz, I don't know if he's trying to block lightning or if he's shooting it out of his elbow. Charge, I imagine that he's trying to bring it in. The worst Voltorb, definitely got a downgrade from the previous one. Macargo, I just love how some of the cards like go into them there, as we see on the Heatran art card there. You can see his little feet in the background above the Macargo head, and then Macargo shows up in the Heatran art card. Very nice. And then just the regular Shaman there, just being a little cutesy. Duskull, Drapion, who I'd like to make work. I currently haven't, though. Another B-Barrel. Krogunk trying to pull off trying to be a rapper, I guess. And again, like Electrode, but it's debatable on how it compares to the previous one there, because it only needs the 1 energy. But I think that it's more to retreat. I don't know. I can't remember what the attacking power of the other one was. So far, nothing super great in these. I don't have access to hearing what the sound is like on all of this, so I'm just taking a guess on it there. So, Poochyena again, the worst Wormadam. Gliscard just hanging out with his Gligar buddy. Abomasnow just trying to do anything. The tools are very interesting. I want to see how I can kind of improve the decks with them. I guess having the decks only be 20 cards makes it incredibly restrictive of what you are able to use, so I wonder how that might change in the future. I understand that this makes it just really quick matches, but you know, the 20 extra HP kind of just seems like another potion almost there, but you can do it preemptively if you really want to. Like, if you know that there's going to be one Mon of yours that would die in 1 hit, but just adding 20 extra power could put it out of there, especially if they are not able to Giovanni them into the KO. It seems pretty nice to just be able to help out. Ambipom, double hit. I love the chance of the heads. Just thinking to other things, like if there is ever a Pokemon ability that is along the lines of any time that you would flip a coin, flip 2 and pick the result, I think that would make these cards insanely busted. Tangela swooping around, Duskull again, Electivire trying to show how powerful they are, and I think that it's a little bit easier to do the Electivire than it is the Magmortar, just because it does only cost 2 for the exciting voltage, so it's essentially if you have Electabuzz out and you use his ability for charge to put an extra one on there, then you already have the 2 that you need for the 40, and if you are able to just squeak in that extra turn, if you're able to, then you get that extra 2. Now that's 2 attacks where you're doing no damage to them later on, deal 120 each time, but then it's just like how worth it is it? Like, do you want to do that? Like, use the charge and then evolve it so that it's doing 40 the next on the second turn that you have it there, and then the 120 afterwards, so you're doing essentially 160 over the course of the 3 turns there? Or do you want to, you know, essentially use the charge the 2 turns to get the 120 on the 3rd turn there? Kind of seems like you might want to do the 40-120, but I mean, it really is situational there. Roselia, being nice, Gligar, Poochyena, the Toxicroak. Again, like, for each Pokemon you have in play, you flip coins. It doesn't have a lot of health at 90, especially with some of the EXs that we have, and flipping at most 4 coins there for, you know, at most 160 damage, which is a lot, but you have to get extremely lucky with the heads. Dawn again. Slugma, just slugging around. Female Combi, very important that they have it as female so that we are able to evolve it. Bidoof again, Team Lactic Blunt. Ooh, and a nice art card. Unfortunately, as you can see, one that I already have. So I am looking forward to when we're going to be able to trade the 2 stars and up, like well, any 2-star, like whether it's these like SIRs or the full art EXs, the immersives, or the gold ones there, because I think it would help out being able to complete out the collections a bit more. But awesome to just get another one there. Yanma, Slugma, Route, ooh, and a nice looking Lucario full art there. Having some of the different fighting type Pokemon that you can have up alongside him. Again, another good one there, like the Shaman, of overlapping things of, hey, you know, you've got 2 Lucarios out there, you're doing an extra 40 damage for your fighting type Pokemon. That's kind of interesting. Granados, we want your Rampardos, buddy, though. Alright. Finishing up some of those little tasks that were added in. And, you know, getting the SIR is nice, and we got, what, the two 1-stars there. Nice, but definitely looking for something a little bit more. So, let's look for something cool. Something really cool. We want to get some of those new artworks. We want to get that Rampardos, that Rhyperior. Come on. Now, if there was a Bing, I didn't hear it. And I can't hear it at the beginning of these packs either. Bronzor, Roselia, Electrode, Azelf. I think a lot of people feel a little bit underwhelmed with the Lake Trio. Uxie being able to put the extra Pokemon energy onto these here, and it's just like, oh yes, you know, Azelf only needs 1 to deal 20 damage to any Pokemon, so you can snipe the bench there, but, you know, like, do you really want to do that there? And then Mesprit being able to do that, what is that, 160 damage, but you discard, I can't remember, I think it's 3 energy. Like, you have to have 3 energy to use it, but then it discards everything, so it's like, oh, you know, like, you need to, like, you can't even get to that with a Gardevoir on there either. And what, you can only use it if you have Uxie and Azelf on the field as well. It's just, like, to make that work, it's like, oh yes, you know, I've got Uxie, Azelf, Mesprit, and then try to get a Gardevoir to make sure that it gets up quickly. It seems like it's too much work. The Electrode, the Murkrow, Nose Pass, just be in there, I guess. You know, 70 toughness, 30 damage. I mean, it's too colorless, so I guess you could run it with the Alga if you really wanted to, but I mean, there's better options. Curlia, you know, just another option to get up towards Gardevoir, or maybe in this case, if you want to get to Gallade there. I think it's just a little bit kind of confusing to be like, oh yes, you know, Gallade is a fighting type. Though I guess it is nice that both Ralts and Curlia in this particular set are colorless on their stuff, so you can just run fighting energy there. Now, I haven't actually used them in a set, so I have absolutely no idea if it works out that way, as if it's just going to use fighting energy. Maybe we'd try. And again, it's like a nice looking artwork there. It has all 3 of them because the attack needs to use all 3 of them. But it's just like, and it's 160 for 3. It looks nice, but it's 70 toughness, so it kind of gets one-shot by pretty much any EX that there is, and you need Uxie and Azelf on it, you discard all energy. It's not worth it. Apom, Insneaky, Granados, Route, Eevee, you know, I haven't played the Pokemon physical TCG in a long, long time. I've heard that this is an artwork from one of the, I'll say more recent sets, in that, you know, it's more recent than like 2002 type of deal. I'm not a big fan of this artwork. It's probably one of my least favorite artworks of Eevee, but Eevee is my favorite Pokemon, so, you know, I have to like it in some capacity. Toxicroak again. Getting the Stun Tank. Kind of your normal looking artwork there, just flat out 50 and poisoning the Pokemon. Think it's nice. Croagunk, a nice Yarn, Murkrow, Electrode, Voltorb, Drapion, Togepi being cute, the Wash Rotom, just I would hate for this to be happening into my own house there. Just like, oh yes, not only is your washing machine alive, but it's just water is pooling out behind it as it just wanders throughout your house. Seems like a nightmare. Oh, this is one that I didn't have. It's a very, very cute Shinx. Hide, flip a coin if heads during opponent's next turn, preventing all damage from it and effects of attacks done to this Pokemon. Kind of nifty. Again, just a kind of like a stalling tactic there, and another thing where it'd be very broken if you had something that let you flip multiple heads. Well, I'm glad that I got that. Got a little Dusknoir, Shadow Void. As long as you like during your turn, you may choose one of your Pokemon that has damage on it and move all its damage to this one instead. I mean, like, in a sense, that seems fantastic to just make sure that your active Pokemon potentially is just really healthy or whatnot there. It's a stage 2, it takes forever to get it there, and then it just kind of seems like it's just wasted on the bench. I guess, like, one thing that is kind of nice about it is if you're potentially maybe not using EXs in your deck, you could bring essentially 120 damage onto it. I'm wondering, because it says all damage there, and you have a pretty hurt active Pokemon, you could just put a ton of damage onto this Dusknoir, have it KO itself, but then you have a healthy active Pokemon. If that works, that'd be really nice if just this wasn't a stage 2. Murkrow again, Rotom going absolutely crazy. Potentially denying energy on it is just really funny. Nosepass, Azelf again. Lopunny with the jump kick, deal 20 damage. So it's deal 20 damage to the active and then 20 damage to one of the bench. A lot of stuff dealing with the bench, which is interesting. Rotom, Mightyena just kind of being the basic one there. Stunky, 10 damage, it's fine. Magneton, 2 for 50. Slugma slugging around. Not my favorite Hitmontop art. I don't know, maybe I'm not a big fan of chibi style, and it kind of just has that whole, like, giant head and small body and limbs type of deal, and I guess I'm also not a fan that it's up in a tree. It's just like, I'm not sure why it's there, but it is a Beyblade, so I mean, you gotta like at least that. Tangrowth, Cranidos, Weasel. Another really fun one there with the Manaphy showing up in so many of these. I like how they did the water of this one. It just looks so... I mean, it's just... There's so many of these lines that go through all of it that just make it look almost maybe like a stained glass window that just makes it look nice. I just like the Manaphy is just going through and seeing all of them, like the Snorlax, Togepi, Dusclops just being really creepy and somehow really huge, despite what it's saying that its height is 5'3". Female Combee, Luxray, kind of a disappointment in here, but other than its looks, it's kind of a disappointment in how it plays out in Pokemon games as well, because it's like, yes, 3 energy, discard 3 very specific lightning energy, and then discard all lightning energy to deal 120 to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Yes, it can strike their bench, but it's also just like, you lose all energy on it. You gotta restart it. Kind of, there's better options for it there. Dusclops, Dawn, Drifloon, just denying damage there. Kind of fun. Duskull, Skuntank. Oh, and that was it on that one there. So, not quite as exciting as the first one, though did get this new art one there, and I am happy about that, especially since it looks so cute. But gonna keep on pushing through there, hoping to get something really crazy. Oh, and hitting up a milestone, 9,500. Woohoo! Don't look. You didn't see anything about that there. Nothing to see there. All right. Third time's the charm, they say. Womp. Alright. Magnemite, 10 damage. Fan Rotom. Putting the opponent's active back in their hand, just being really funny of like, yeah, you know, getting essentially rid of all of the energy attached to it. If it's evolved, then you put them back that much. Baneri, making Splash viable. Skuntank. Pachirisu EX, you know, dealing with the tools that if it has a tool attached to it, it does 80, which I'm comparing it to the Pikachu EX, which I kind of like this Pachirisu one better, mostly because it's the same energy cost to do it. It's just you need only one other card to really make Pachirisu work. Now, I guess it might be a little bit harder to, you know, find a tool, but, you know, if you can get a tool set onto it, it's 80 each time. Yes, the Pikachu can do up to 90 there, but if you have no other Pokemon on your bench, well, then that Pikachu is doing nothing, so in that sort of sense, I do like the Pachirisu a bit better. Nightmare Rotom, Progunk, Eevee, Roserade being Majestic, Poisoning Pokemon with 50 there. It's okay. You know, it's a stage 1, so it's not super terrible. Doubling up on the Glamour. Gloom, 30 on the 1, Tangela, Gawaigar, now the Giant Cape, the Lucario in its regular art being super anime. It's trying to do like a underhand Aura Blast to try to get you. Frost Rotom, probably the most sane Rotom that's in this set there. Blizzard, you know, kind of trying to do the Articuno thing. It's just, you know, instead of dealing 80, it deals 30, and instead of dealing 30, it deals 10. Fan Rotom, Togetic just floating around, 40 damage. Wormadam. I mean, the reason why I prefer this one over the fighting one is the fighting one has same restrictions there, and it deals a flat 70. And then, like, for this Wormadam, it's, oh, you know, it deals 60, but you essentially have a 50% chance of doing 90. So, you know, taking that into effect, it's more like you're doing 75 with each hit on average, which just makes it a little bit better. Plus, it's more fun to be like, I'm going to flip a coin to see if I do more. You know, just like the fun aspect. Dawn. Skarmory, another one that has the little Heatran reference, with Heatran just walking on the ceiling, just being like, hoo-doo-doo-doo-doo. One to deal 20 damage. If it has Pokemon Tool, it deals 30 more, so, you know, very similar to the Pachirisu. No Rotom, Hitmontop, Nose Pass on. Come on, let's get something exciting! Ambipom, Wormadam, Drifloon, just doing 60, Poochyena, Magneton, Mo, Nosepass, Macargo's really fast, Riolu, trying to be like its big brother, trying to be anime, Azelf, Weasel, Morotom, Scorpy, also trying to be anime there. You know, it kind of suffers from that same Nose Pass thing of like, oh, you know, it deals 30 damage for 2, though I like how Drapion works better than Probopass does, which is why I would prefer to try to make Drapion work and probably not Nose Pass or Probopass. Registeel, I like all of them sort of waking up, though I guess Registeel is the most viable of them, though Regirock does have the ability to cut down damage on itself, which in and of itself is nice. It just takes a lot of energy to make Regirock work, whereas Registeel, it's like, oh, you know, you use the Dialga and get some energy onto it, it makes it better. It's just, there's other better options. Ooh, and another pretty Shaman. Lovely, lovely. Scorpy, Togepi, Slugma, Toxicroak, Skarmory, nothing there. Last pack, no Rotom, Bidoof, Heat Rotom. Again, like, the background is fine, it's just that you have this oven that is charging at you with the door open, like it wants to stick your head into the oven, and that's terrifying. Just another kind of fun one there of like, oh, you know, for 2 you deal 30, kind of like some of those other basics like the Scorpy and the Nosepass, but again, you get the fun portion there of flipping the coin, see if you get 30 extra. Growth and Galactic Grunt. Okay, nothing super exciting there. Did get the EX and got another Shaman there, but nothing super fantastic. Looks like Dialga is not doing well for us, though. The Palkia ones are the ones that kind of gave me the better results the other time, though, so that is kind of what I'm looking forward to. Alrighty, come on, number 4. So we got one shine there that I saw, and then we do have a rare here. Drifloon, disappointing Luxray, Bidoof, Finneon. I don't know, it's smiling, but it also just kind of looks like it's lost in wherever this is. 10 damage, flip over the coin. If heads during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage. Okay, so it's like the Shinx, except it deals damage, which in of itself makes it feel better. Which, I mean, considering the line with Luxray, kind of seems a little fitting. Ooh, the Bidoof just Colony being like, we're making that dam, and we're doing anything we can for it. All of them just with smiles on their faces. Just cuties. Duskull, Shinx, looking lost and afraid. Pokemon communication, I really like this one for just essentially getting rid of something in your hand and being able to just guarantee you get another Pokemon. And the good thing is it's not basic, so it's like, oh man, you know, I really want this evolution of this Pokemon. Well, there's a possibility that you can throw away a basic in your hand that you don't need to try to get that evolution, especially if it's the only one left in the deck. Female Combi. Here's the Regirock, just the, you know, it's 100 damage for 4 energy. It's just a lot of energy to make it work, but it does take the -20 from attack, so comparing to what other basic Pokemon can do, it will likely stand the test of time. It's just so much energy. Ralts, Snover, you know, being very specific of if it's a fighting type Pokemon, it deals 30, so if a fighting type Pokemon is weak to water, it's dealing 60 to them. That's kind of funny for just 1 energy on a basic. That is hilarious, though the amount of time that that's going to happen is probably slim. Electabuzz, Volkner, choosing Electivire, or Luxray attached to energy from the discard pile. And I guess I could see how that would work nice with the Electivire, only if you had energy discarded first. So you need to get the energy out, and then you get the 2 that's needed for the Electivire. But the Luxray, it's like you need to use your 1 turn energy as well as the Volkner to be able to get it to attack again, which I guess could work, but it just, there's not enough work for it to actually be used or for me to want to be able to try it out. Bronzong with the nice Yukamori art. I think that she is incredibly talented to be able to just make all of these and then just go out and photograph them. As a card, it has the Golem attack there of Guard Press. Makes it kind of viable there a little bit with the Dialga. Minus 20 damage, not sure how much that's going to deal with kind of later game threats there, but maybe I could take an extra hit with it. Bombasnow, Gloom, Stunky, Apom, Roserade. Come on, something cool. Duskull, Magneton, Murkrow, Baneri, Togetic, Scorpy, Poochyena, Bombasnow, Gloom, Vespiquen. Again, just kind of doing a little bit of basic stuff. Electrode, Fanrotom, Yanma, Voltorb, Magnezone, just arguably the better Luxray in the set. Yes, it does not get Volkner support, but it only discards 1, and it deals 110 only to the active, but it's 110. It's 20 power less, but you discard less lightning energy. Because I believe on Luxray it's discard all, so even if you put extra on it, like you might for Mewtwo, it still gets rid of it. Whereas this, it's like, yes, I have to discard 1, and if you know it's going to live, you can put that energy, you can essentially keep on recycling and putting the energy back on that you discarded, and it still works. Which is why it's just the better Luxray in the set. Burmy, I really, really like the artwork of this. I'm glad that they don't have different individual Burmies to evolve into the different Wormadams and restrict it, kind of like how they do with the fossils in TCG Pocket, where you have to be like, yes, I'm going to put this fossil in there to allow it to evolve into the Cranidos, or you put the old Amber in to put into the Aerodactyl. Because in the original fossil set, it was, here is just a fossil card, and you could evolve any of them into, you could evolve the fossil into any of them. You weren't restricted by them. So I'm glad that they don't do this with Burmy, but I like how they're all on this tree branch, and they're all in the middle of where they would be. So the trash form Rotom is in front of where the city is, the sand one is in front of all of the deserty area, and you've got the leaf cloak in where the forest is. I think it's just a really good design, and if the artist Mugi Hamada had designed that, or if he was just given direction, whoever thought of that, I think went a really good direction. Drifloon, and that's also probably the most that I will ever speak on a Burmy. Regirock, Voltorb, the Heatran, and here we go with all of the different ones that Heatran has in the backgrounds there, with the Skarmory and the Cargo. Haven't pulled any Rhydons yet, so we haven't seen it there, but we have the nice little Heatran in the middle there. Now, I don't much care that... By don't much care, I mean, I don't really like that it deals 20 damage to itself with its attack, because then it's like, I only need to deal 100 damage to this if this gets off one attack, which you very likely will want to be running this with the Dialga to be able to get it to work. And at that point there, it's just like, why not use something else that's going to be more impactful? I understand that it's a basic, but I don't know, I'd rather be using something like Yanmega to just be more impactful. But still a nice looking card. Burmy, Voltorb, Blossom being very happy, Bidoof, Floatzel. Again, just for 1 damage, not 1 damage, 1 energy you deal 30, and then potentially an extra 30 with that fun little head flipping. Ooh. Nice Mamoswine. Again, like that it's bringing in the thick fat almost like it is in the games there of like, yes, minus 30. Now minus 30 feels a lot more, for whatever reason, feels a lot more impactful than 20, maybe because most basic Pokemon are not dealing more than 30 damage. It's essentially the ones that are going to be evolving into something else. So it's like, if you're fighting up against fire or water deck, then it's like, oh, you know, if you can get Mamoswine out there, none of those are gonna hit you there, and even if something does, you might be essentially neutering them by a quarter to a third of the damage output of an EX or even like a second stage evolution. I mean, it hurts, and because it's a water type, even though, you know, ice type, you can try to use Misty on it to be able to get the 120. It just seems like it has a lot of survivability against those specific decks, and if those ever become more prominent, I could see this being in there. 4 retreat cost is super heavy though, like that, that hurts. Poochyena, Snover, Lopunny, Mightyena. Okay. So, got a couple of art cards there, but nothing brand spanking new, nothing super exciting there. Last pack of Dialga, see if it will be nice at all. Oop, got 2 shines there. We saw that. Drifloon, double Drifloon, Krogunk. He just really wants his friends there, and I like how it's the Team Galactic grunts in the back who can fetch a Krogunk there, so I think it's a nice little twist between the 2 cards there to have that on the art card. Tangela, Electrode, Gligar, Lumineon having its other mana fee, doing 50 for 1, which, what is it, the Finneon had the one with the 10 damage and potentially have the minus 20 on the next attack there. So, continuation, not the super most impactful there, probably won't run it, but just a nice little interaction, and I like the Manaphy, Hero Tom, Ape. Ooh. And that is what you want to see. Oh my. What an EX. 150. 2 Steel Energy. You take 2 Steel Energy from your Energy Zone and attach it to one of your benched Pokemon and does 30 damage. It's a boosted charge, and I think that's so great. I mean, if you've got... like, yeah, you know, it's... the first turn, Dialga does nothing. Second turn, it does the 30 damage and assigns the energy on. Third turn, it does the same thing, but with 4 energy on something that can utilize that, you essentially have another thing that can hit, whether that be another Dialga, whether that be something like I keep on saying that, Yanmega EX, or, you know, any other sort of steel type that you want to put out there. If you want to use the Registeel or just something that has a normal type that needs a lot of energy, it works really well for it. Only 2 to be able to retreat it out, so if you can just like string the Dialgas in if you want to be like, ah, yes, I'll put this Dialga in and then I'll retreat it out, and oh, you know, you could use the Metallic Turbo to refill up the one that you retreated to be able to do the 100. Not the most impactful like second hit there of the 100, but the 30 is a nice one there, and absolutely gorgeous. I was wondering if I could make it go again there, but I'll do it at the end. Ooh. Last Dialga pack, that is a keeper. Sorry, I'm also realizing that I didn't have the sound on there, so my bad on all of that, but it's just going to be a little bit, you know, the sound isn't going to be great on this one here. I'll just try to remember to turn the sound on in the future ones. Krogunk, Nosepass, Poochyena, Cargo, Floatzel. We kind of got what we wanted. The Shinx and that one there, you know, would have been great to get the Rhyperior and the Rampardos, but, I mean, we kind of got the most important things. Another Mesprit, Yeah, again, it's nice. Too much work to be able to do. Ambipom, Finneon, Roselia, Luminion, Piloswine. Again, does the same exact thing as Mamoswine, and for essentially 1 extra energy, does twice the damage, and, you know, has the -20. -20, still okay, just like Regirock, it's just a 30, just feels a bit better. Finneon, Gloom, Gliscor, Gligar. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, look at that support. It's coming out like bang with that little explosion in the background there. Doing the whole Vaporeon ability. God, it's a nice looking card. Maybe not the nicest trainer card. That might be a little bit of a spoiler for something, but still a very, very pretty trainer card. Frostrotom, Grunts, Duskull, Swinub being very cute with the little snow on its nose, and the same exact Mesprit. It really just wants to be used saying like, hey, I'm here, you've got a lot of versions of me, make it work somehow. And my answer will always be no. Apom, Weasel, Swinub, and the beautiful Shaman. Definitely will be nice to see what sort of, you know, cosmetic treatments that you can do with it to make it look nice. Dusclops, Scorpy, Piloswine, Slugma, Nosepass, the Mesprit coming in with its regular art. The regular art's not that bad either, especially when you realize how they kind of all combine together. Macargo, Duskull, Nosepass, Riolu, Giant Cape. Okay, you know, of the 5, definitely the best, because it's like, oh, we get the Krogunk in the first, we get the Dialga in the second, nothing in third, but fourth, we get the same Mesprit, nothing in 5, number 6, we get the Dawn, full art, number 7, we get another Mesprit, number 8, we get the Shaman, nothing in 9 or 10, but my goodness, that's some good ones there. I just want to see this one more time if it will let me. Now, I think that the other ones that we've had are better, like comparatively to this one here. Like the Dialga just stands in one place, just like the other ones do. I do appreciate how it's like, oh, look at all of the eons that are passing with the lake giving way to more land, with all the trees coming in. It definitely showcases that passage through time, but it feels very stationary, where all of the other ones seem to explore a lot more, especially since all the other ones also had additional Pokemon. Even the Mewtwo one, it's like, ah, yes, you know, the Mewtwo one has the little Mew that just pops up at the very end before it comes out, but, you know, these ones here just don't have that same effect. So, while I think that they are still great, I think the immersive arts are probably the best decision that they made in terms of the card stuff, because you can really only do that at the moment through a virtual media like this. I do think that these ones are the weakest ones. Still amazing, just I wonder what else that they could have done. Maybe even do something like the fossil Pokemon in it there, of like, oh, you know, here's the fossil Pokemon, and you just see them becoming fossils there, and then maybe getting excavated out and being brought back to life. Okay, well, again, I think it was a great way to finish it off with both a Dawn. Don't look, don't look, don't look! Did you see it? Maybe I'll do the, no, I won't have done it there, but you probably saw the big spoiler there of one of the things that I end up pulling in the previous one there. But now that we've pulled some out of Dialga, why don't we move on over to Palkia and see what we can get from there? Now, I think that, again, the Mismagius EX is one that we are looking for, but we are also looking for some of the art cards as well. So, let's see if we can get the Palkia immersive art as well. That would be nice. Maybe even a Palkia Gold. Okay, well, now that I actually have the sound on, I was able to hear it. I heard that one. Maybe there were other ones in the previous polls before I actually turned the sound on, like the dummy that I was being. But I guess that's how it is. Chatot, again, another one that if you have a Pokemon ability that just says, ah, yes, you know, kind of like the opposite of the Slowking that got banned in the English version, where it's like, ah, yes, you know, if your opponent uses an ability, they have to flip a coin to see if it actually works, or something like that. But, you know, for years, it's like, ah, you know, if you flip a coin, you pick, do it twice and pick the results, would be insane for this one here, because it's just like, ah, yes, you know, flip 3 coins and you deal 20 for each one for 1 power. It's just like, oh yes, you know, you've got a higher percentage chance of dealing 60 damage on a normal one that this Chatot could go into anyone. Would be nice. Bastiodon, can I trade this one for the Rampardos, please? Please. If any damage is done to this Pokemon by attack, flip a coin. If the Pokemon takes minus 100. Again, you know, 160 damage. I could see this easily going into the Dialga one as well, of just like a super Stallimon of potentially taking minus 100 damage. Now you have to like really hit it hard, and even still, it's like if they get that hedge, you might only be dealing like 40 damage to it. Might be dealing 20 damage to it. It's insane. Again, super high retreat cost there. Very similar to it's very similar to the Mamoswine there, because it's along that line of super bulky effect that it has there, and a lot of HP, but because of that, it takes a lot to retreat. Now, Mamoswine isn't necessarily slow, as Bastiodon is. It's just, you know, another thing. So, I like it. The problem of it being a fossil Pokemon there, of needing to evolve from the fossil, is probably the only thing that's disappointing. Staravia with the Manaphy, you know, that's, again, another really cute one there. Slugma, Grotle, it's fine there. Starly, Pluck, before doing damage, discard all Pokemon tools from your opponent's active Pokemon. That is a little toxic there, of just being like, ah, yes, you know, sorry, you wanted to use that later? Nope. With the, if they use the giant cape and you're just like, use the Pluck, it's like, oh, you know, not only is it doing 20, it's also doing kind of another 20 because it's taking off the cape there. Now, I don't exactly know what a lot of the other ones do, mostly because the Cresselia solo battle event uses so many of the capes there. It's just like, I know what that one does, but really nothing else there. Mesprit again, the Burmese, Rhyhorn. Can you get Rhyperior in this, since you can get the Rhyhorn in this? Glaceon, flip a coin if had your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. I guess, you know, it's fine considering like Frozen isn't really a status effect there, but seems fine. Again, you know, flipping a coin, seeing if it does anything there, kind of fun. Eevee, Magmar. Again, Stoke, it's fine, but, and I guess you could do the Blaine thing on here of having Stoke be able to do damage, but because Magmortar needs, what is it? It's 3 to be able to use its effect, and then you need 2 more on top of that. It just seems slower than the Electabuzz one. Minion, Frost Rotom, Floatzel, Ambipom, Apom, Abomasnow, regular Rotom, Assault Laser. If your opponent's active Pokemon has a Pokemon tool, this does 30 more damage. Yeah, I mean, to counter it, but not my choice of what I would choose for Rotom. Magnezone again, that's nice. Voltorb, Electrode, Staravia, Rhyhorn, Manaphy. So, looks like we just didn't have the Shellos, and again, a really, really cute artwork there of bringing everything together. I really, really like it. And you know, just on its little journey there. Oceanic Gift, choose 2 of your benched Pokemon. For each of those, put a water energy from your energy zone and attach it to that Pokemon. And I think that is really impactful with the Vaporeon from the, Mythical Island set there, because it's like, oh, you know, like, you use the Manaphy with its one thing to essentially put 2 energy out for it there, and even if you have to retreat it out the next turn and you bring something in, whatever you bring in, you can put your 1 energy on, and then you can use the Vaporeon thing to put the 2 that are there, so it comes in with 3, so you can essentially ramp by 1 extra energy. And I think that could be good if you start off with Manaphy and you have extra Pokemon on the bench. Albeit you need at least the 2 extra on the bench there. But I think that it could be a way to kind of go about doing that stuff. I mean, and then there's the Misty that you could obviously do, but with Misty kind of being a little bit hit or miss there because of the coins, I think that this Manaphy is going to be one way that you can do that sort of ramp without necessarily needing to use the Misty. Slugma, Gabite looking really cool there, slashing out. Do like that it's water and fighting. I think that's, I mean, in general, like, not having really a dragon energy and then just dragon Pokemon having all these different types on them there, that's fun. Mischievous, please be a signal of Miss Magius because I really want to get one. Mumble, Piplup, Nap just deal heal 20 damage, so kind of like the Nullify 20 damage there, but you use it on an attack there, so can kind of keep it healthy at the very initial stages of the game. Mesprit again. Wormadam. Okay, so here's the third one there, which again is the weakest in its natural power. The fighting one deals 70. The grass one deals 60, but you flip 1 coin, and if you get heads, you get 30. And then for this one, Iron Head, it's only 2 to use, so if you want to use it with Dialga, all you need to do is just do the Metallic Burst 1 time and it fills this up. And you flip a coin until you get heads, and this does 30 more for each one, so it's very similar to the Eevee from Mythical Island, except it has 50 to start off with instead of using just a timed effect. So probably my favorite Wormadam of the bunch. I don't know, like, it seems a little bit sacrilegious that that's the case, but it since it's in trash form there, but I don't know. It just seems like it could be the best one there. Now, you could get screwed over and be unlucky with all of your flips, and it's just like, yeah, you know, I would have preferred to use the fighting one, but I don't know. It just seems really fun. Powdon, just kind of basic 4 for 120. Armor Fossil, Eevee, Mesprit. 3 Mesprit so far in this 10. That's not what I want to see. Though, I guess I can sell them to get the trade coins there, and maybe at some point there, like I said, you could trade 2 or 3 stars, maybe even a crown for that golden. 3 for 60. Yikes. Sorry, Powdon, sorry, Hippopotas, you're not gonna be used. Luminion, Starly, Gibble, Rhydon with his, again, the Heatran tracks in the background there. It's really nice. But Rhyperior, it'd be really nice for him to show up. Kricketot, you know, I find this art very strange because it's a log. It doesn't really look like a stick because there are little branches coming off, and it's just like, it seems way, the scale just seems really weird with it. Finneon, Gastrodon, Muddy Water, this attack deals 20 damage to one of your opponent's benched. It's fine, not fantastic. Snover again, Staraptor Clutch. This seems like the exact opposite of the Pidgeot in the Genetic E-Packs sets, where instead of the Pidgeot using its ability to force out a switch out, it's like, oh, I don't want them to switch out, because Clutch can essentially deal with almost anything with 2 hits there. You can be like, ah, yes, Clutch, I am gonna force you to not be able to retreat there. So just another like interesting tech that you might be able to use maybe alongside that Pidgeot of, hey, you know, I want this one to switch out, or I don't want this one to switch out. I think the screen color changed, so maybe there's something in here. Sneasel and Weavile, some of my favorite Pokemon of all time there. I would very much like the art card of Weavile, just because it looks really pretty. Sneasel, you know, I wish it was along the lines for the double scratch of a 20 plus, where you only flip 1 head and you get 20 more damage for it there, just so it can at least get a consistent 20. More than likely, you're going to, like, the way that the mechanics of, you know, flipping a coin will work there, 75% of the time you're going to deal at least the 20 damage, but there is a 25% chance that you deal no damage, and I don't like that. The best Wormadam, Piplup, regular Manaphy, still looking cute, though I like the artwork ones, and Shieldon. Okay, so I guess there wasn't really anything in here, so Shieldon, just 50 damage for 2. Okay, so nothing super exciting in this one. Did get another Manaphy full art there, so that's fine. You were the best one to me, Palkia. Like, Dialga did get me the immersive art just now, but I will let you know, as you did see it, I did get the Crown Rare from the Palkia pack. So, you know, that's why, even though I like Dialga better than Palkia, Palkia kind of came through in this one here for me. So, I'm hoping Miss Magius. Okay, nothing that I heard or saw there. Starly, Ambipom, Heat Rotom, Porygon 2, you know, being able to go off of the Porygon. Potentially, instead of the Porygon that they have in this one, to do it in the original one, because I think it doesn't deal any damage, but you get to draw a card, which I think should be pretty impactful there. Of turn 1, draw an extra card, turn 2, be able to deal the 30 damage, and then potentially go into the Porygon Z. Cyrus, I think, is super fantastic there, mostly because while Sabrina is good in its own right there, you don't get to choose what your opponent sends in. You get to choose which one you do, albeit they have to have damage, but as I'm sure that you know, one of the best decks that is currently being played there with the Weaviles and the Darkrai's like to put out a lot of damage. Now, in mine, I very much like to run Spiritomb and hope that I get it on my very first turn, because not only does it deal the 10 damage to the Pokemon out in front, it deals 10 damage to everything on the bench. So, and that's for 1 there. And I like to just be able to get that damage in, and then, you know, either be able to switch it out, hopefully for the Sneasel that has been evolved into the Weavile, so it can start dealing that 70 damage for the 1, or having the Darkrai being able to stack up extra damage on following turns there, so even if the Spiritomb goes again and deals the 10 damage to everything, there's the extra 20 that the Darkrai has dealt. But Cyrus, very impactful card, I think. Weasel, Starly, Magmar, Staraptor, Carnivine, it doesn't deal enough for me. I'm not a big fan of Carnivine either, so you know, I'll pass on it there. Staravia, Kricketune makes them confused. Voltorb, Abomasnow, and Infernape. You know, it's got that Charizard EX effect, or I guess a lot of the old fire Pokemon effect there of like, you know, discard all of the fire energy on this. But in this case here, it's only 2 that you need instead of 3 or 4, so you can get it just that much faster. And it deals 140 damage. It's still really good. It's got 170 health, so it's definitely taking a hit from pretty much anything. You know, there are a couple of cases where it doesn't, but in most cases, it's taking that first attack or two. You know, I think it could work. Chatot, Roselia, Carnivine. Okay, don't have this art card yet, so definitely enjoying getting that. Again, probably won't use it. Poochyena, Carnivine again. Grottle, Nosepass, Porygon. Again, like I said, like you could run this one to deal the 20 damage, but it just seems I would prefer to draw the extra card with the Porygon from the genetic E-Packs. Wash, Rotom, Roserade, Chimchar, Armor Fossil, Bombasnow, Poochyena, Magmortar. Okay, so my apologies. I was messing up on what the Magmortar does. So it's 4 to do Bursting Inferno. Opponent's active Pokemon is now burned. Now, I don't know if this is like a new status condition that has been introduced either here or maybe the Pokemon TCG after. Obviously, I stopped collecting. I have no idea what burn does, so I might have to look that up. But I mean, again, like it just seems like the Electivire one is better because even if you flip it over with the 2, it's still doing 40 damage. Whereas this one, you still have to get the 4 to have it even do 100. And when Electivire does get the 4, it deals 120. Again, I don't know what Burned does. If that means that they take... Maybe it could be like Poison, and maybe they do less damage. I'm not sure. But something to look into, but I do think the Electivire is better. Especially since it has support from Volkner. Perugly. Now this, I think, is an incredibly toxic card. With the interrupt there, your opponent reveals their hand, and you choose a card and you shuffle it back in. Now they don't draw a card afterwards, and I think that's what makes it so toxic there is you look into their hand, you can see what maybe they were playing, because information is everything in these types of TCGs. So knowing what they have, and then putting essentially their best thing, whether it's something that they were going to evolve the next turn, maybe it's an impactful trainer card there. Who knows? Like you could be shuffling it right away, right away into their deck. And it costs a lot there with the 3, but I mean, if you use the Dialga, then potentially you can get it out there. It is a 3 retreat cost, but that's how much it is to attack. So if you're able to attack, you're able to do it. I think it's just incredibly toxic. Not the greatest card, but I think that you can make it work to just make it super annoying. Eevee, Ambipom, Armor Fossil, Cynthia, make Garchomp and Togekiss do 50 extra damage. Woohoo! Come on, let's have them show up. Starly, Burmy, Carnivine, Rotom, another super toxic. Nosepass, Gloom, Rotom, Shieldon, Blossom, Rhydon, Chimchar, Weasel, Burmy, Spiritomb. The Spiritomb that does the 10 damage to everything there. Not the most exciting thing. Yeah, we got an EX, we got the Carnivine alt art. But, I mean, really kind of one of the weakest 10 pulls that we've had here. Okay, and with that, I think, yeah, that's technically every single 1-star alternate artwork there. Okay. Come on, Palkia. Let's see what you've got. Show me what you got. One little flash at the end there. Scorpy, Slugma, Cresselia. Now, for 2 being able to heal itself is fine, you know, especially when it's what do you call it there? When it's EX is kind of an upgraded version of that, of whenever you put an energy onto it there, which you don't necessarily need to, you know, use an attack to do it, which also is why the attack does much more damage and costs an extra energy to use there. But, you know, I think it's a decent substitute. A better one than, let's say, the Venusaur and Genetic Apex to the EX of it. Chatot, Carnivine, Ambipom, Finneon, Staraptor, Slugma, another Cresselia, Magnemite, Magmar, Magneton, Voltorb, Magneton. They're showing up a lot. Armor Fossil. Regice, prevent all effects of attacks used by your opponent's Pokemon done to this Pokemon. Now, I think that this is interesting because of something like the Spiritomb, because it doesn't deal 10 damage to this, and then 10 damage to all bench. It just does 10 damage to everything, but it's part of the effect of the attack and not the actual damage of it. So, you know, gets rid of, you can't confuse this, you can't poison it, paralyze it, burn it. Like, you can't do any of that. The retreat thing from the Staraptor doesn't work. You know, it's just... And I wonder... no, I think that the flipping of the coin still works for it there, because it makes it the damage of the attack. But I could be wrong. If that's the case, then, you know, the Regice might be better, especially since this one only needs the 2 to be able to attack with it there. Chatot, Morotom, Giratina. I think a very, very good card. You know, you only need 1 energy to retreat it. And I mean, it's got a 3 retreat cost, but that's kind of a lie, because you just need an energy on it, and then it doesn't have a retreat cost. You know, it goes into the Distortion world. It's just so slippery because, again, all you need is 1 energy, and it has no retreat cost. You can just bring it, you can retreat it whenever you want there. I think that that is a great escape mechanic there, because then if you want to bring it back in later to deal the 70, all you need to do, like, and it's not an EX either. So, great artwork, by the way. I think that Akira did an amazing job on this one here. Magmar, Wormadam, Electrode, Eevee, Porygon 2, Glameow, Pose. You know, it's the... what do you call it there? The far-fetched Leak Slap. Where it's like, oh, you know, it does the 40, but there's a chance that it just does nothing. Floatzel, Turtwig just being kind of normal there. Porygon, Lumberry. Okay, so here's another tool. At the end of each turn, if the Pokemon this card attached to is affected by any status conditions, it recovers from all of them and discard this card. I mean, it would be nice if it just stayed on there to essentially have the Regice ability of being unaffected, but at least doing it 1 time can help out, so it's not like asleep and you have the possibility of wasting a turn, or paralysis and, you know, wasting an attack, or, you know, being confused and having the chance to waste your turn. So it's nice if there ever becomes those sort of status conditions that become prevalent. Scorpy, Mars. Your opponent shuffles their hand into their deck and draws a card for each of their remaining points to movement. So, me thinking that this is an upgraded version of Red Card, because the closer that your opponent is to win, the less cards that they have in their hand. Yes, you're still, getting them the option of potentially getting another card in their hand. But if they have a bunch in their hand that you can get rid of, if they've got 3 or 4 cards, you're sending them away. And if they only need 1 more point to win, they only draw 1 card. Yes, they get an extra card on their turn, but instead of working with maybe 5 cards in their hand, like 4 or 5 cards in their hand, which could be trainers, items, tools that could help them win on that very last turn, you could essentially try to deny them that or give them a less possibility of winning. So I do think that Mars is an upgraded version of the red card, though you can use red card more than once. But Manaphy, Burmy, Uxie, Staravia, Magmar, Staraptor, Staravia, Rotom, Voltorb, Cargo, Glameow. So, another nice artwork of this Glameow. It has the luxury ball in the top left corner because it's what's that? What would you call that there? Not pompous. I can't remember the word. But it's trying to be high class there, and got a few pictures of itself in a really nice vintage home there. Just trying to showcase it. Definitely feel like it's someone that has put a lot of effort to making their home look like that. Frost Rotom, Heat Rotom, Mightyena, Oddish, Magnezone. Okay, so again, nothing super fantastic in this one. The Glameow is nice and all, but we're looking for the 2 stars and graders, or just a Mismagius in general. So what's this? Number 3, I think, for the Palkia? Or is this number 4? I think it's number 4. Rotom, Starly, Shellos, damn. Empoleon, 150, Aqua Jet, so deals 80 damage to the active and 30 one of the benched Pokemon. So, almost kind of like a single target Blizzard, which is what? Is this? It's an energy less, and one of them doesn't have to be water? I mean, I guess it could be an option if you didn't want to run an EX there. Uxie, Heat Rotom, Wash Rotom, Gibble, Glaceon, Snover, Shieldon, Aipom, Hippopotas. Ooh! Not exactly the Mismagius that we were looking for, but it's pretty much an even better one there. And it's a lot more colorful than I would have expected it to be, but the foiling on it is actually beautiful. Oh, that's fantastic. At least we got one nice thing from these Palkia packs. Aipom, Mischievous, Scorpy, Cyrus again, Electrode. Come on, this is essentially the dawn of them there. Want to give me the Palkia Immersive? Chatot, Kricketune, Floatzel, Sneasel, Cyrus again, Starly, Kricketot, Mightyena, Sneasel, Magmortar, Turtwig, Rhyhorn, Manaphy, Piplup, Lumberry, Lickitung, Eevee, Nosepass, Perugly. Okay, another one here, another Poker Tool. If the Pokemon this it's attached to is in the active spot and damaged your opponent's Pokemon, it does 20 damage to the attack. Another very interesting one for something very defensive, like kind of giving them the Dredagon ability of that rough skin there. You could put that on something like Dredagon so that they take 40 damage for each swing. You could put it on something like Bastiodon, something that's tanky like that, or Mamoswine, so that it takes more hits to take them out, but they're also dealing more damage to themselves. I think that it's a good tool if you're running a defensive, slower deck. Piplup, Voltorb, Porygon, Spiritomb, Garchomp, which I think has an amazing ability there, because it's what is it? It doesn't need any more energy after it goes into Gabite. So you can be putting your energy on other stuff. But Reckless Shearing, discard a card from your hand. Once during your turn, you may draw a card. Now, I think that this is fantastic. You get rid of something that you don't need at that time to just start getting through your deck more. And I think that's very good. I think that being able to find the things that you actually want, essentially getting in a draw, yeah, it does cost discarding a card, but I think that this is a good card, especially for a non-EX. Now I did hear something there, I'm pretty sure. Drapion, Scorpy, Finneon, Nosepass, and Rockulent. I don't know why I heard something there. I was so sure that I heard something. Okay, let's look at this one here. Just the friends. Like the Burmese, there's so many cards in this that I really just want to call these like the friend packs, because there's just so many of these guys that have friends. And I'm not just talking about the Manaphy's Journey there, but it's just like, look at these two guys. They're just happy little friends together. I think it's just absolutely adorable. Okay, now I'm fairly certain that, oh right, we gotta record that one in there. Okay, I'm pretty sure that this is going to be the last Palkia one. Okay. Palkia, do you want to be nice to me? Okay, nothing there. Monferno, 1 for 30, Porygon, Togepi, Rotom, another Empoleon, Rotom, Porygon, Mightyena, Scorpy, another Giratina, nice. Porygon 2, Finneon, Poochyena, Rotom, Togetic, Togepi, Kricketot, Macargo, Ambipom, Magneton, Gloom, Regice, Eevee, Chatot, another Garchomp, nice. Cargo, Rhyhorn, Togepi, Aipom, Grottle, another Empoleon, Chimchar, Finneon, Fanrotom, Probopass, Abomasnow, Wormadam, Chimchar, Heatrotom, Roserade, Sneasel, Gibble, Ambipom, Abomasnow, ooh, Weavile EX. Now I only had one of these, so I'm really glad to get another one so that I can kind of complete out the deck that I was looking to make with it. Prinplup, 2 for 30, Piplup, Heatrotom, Magnemite, and Rhydon. Okay, so it looks like the Palkia packs were a bit more disappointing this time around. Yes, we did get the Mismagius EX, not the like standard one either, which is kind of what I was hoping to find there. I will definitely take the 2-star one, but okay, so Probopass, I guess it's fine. You know, it can deal up to 180, and I guess it does work with Dialga, so maybe I wasn't thinking quite as much. It is very silly art, though. The triple nose, when... I mean, yeah, the triple is referring to all 3 of the fallen ones, but it does have 4 noses on it. And yeah, let's... And again, that Weavile, just for 1, it can do up to 70 damage there. You know, a very, very fast EX card there, comparatively to a lot of the other ones there, since you can start hitting with it on essentially turn 2, where turn 2 because you have to evolve it, but you could be putting that second energy on Darkrai to have the effect work, and it essentially does 90 damage for only costing 1 to attack. But overall, you know, again, getting a Crown Rare in the first ones and not being able to ever record it is a bit disappointing, but still being able to go through and get the immersive art there, getting a couple of 2-star full arts is nice to get. So I'm happy with what it came through. I'm hoping that there can be a bit more luck next time, and maybe there will be abilities to trade the higher level cards later on. Who knows? We'll see how it goes, but thank you for joining me in on this new endeavor there of essentially this new hobby that I wanted to share. And I hope that you all have great luck in your own pulls if you do any of the pack openings for really anything. Yu-Gi-Oh!, Lorcana, Magic the Gathering, Pokemon in real life, TCG Pocket, whatever have you. But in the meantime, I hope that you have a wonderful day, great evening, and I hope you all take care of yourselves. Take care.